Sweet, let's jump in. So it's National Pizza Day, which is amazing. Hopefully you're getting some pizza. We had an argument in first period about Hot Pockets. Are Hot Pockets pizza? We don't know. They're Mia's favorite. Oh, pizza's your favorite. I don't know. Some people were like, Hot Pockets are pizza. And I was like, maybe, I don't know. I guess maybe, but I like to think of pizza with like, you know, bread on the bottom, stuff on the top, but then like is half a sandwich, like if you had a piece of bread and sauce on top, would that be pizza? I don't know. So just something to ponder for your afternoon. National Pizza Day. Cool. We're gonna jump in. I have for you, per usual, announcements, notes, assignment. My goal is to get to more of the assignment today, so I'm moving a little bit faster, but not too much faster, to be honest. Cool. So wanted to give you just a heads up on something that is super duper awesome. The Los Angeles Urban League is having some math support, so let me tell you about it. So what is it? First of all, the LAUL, the Urban League, is a local organization that works to uplift and empower Black and Brown communities. So they offer a ton of cool programs like scholarships, like college tours, like high school mentorship programs, and like math tutoring, which is super, super awesome. And this tutoring is the best tutoring because you actually can get paid to go. So they can help with any level of math. So they can help us with Algebra 2. It's on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays after school from 3:30 to 5. And in addition to giving help, every week that you go, you can get a $10 gift card to Walmart. Walmart sells everything. So basically it's like getting $10 cash. So you get every week that you go, so like you get $10 this week, $10 next week, $10 the week after that. So you get that math help. The way that you sign up is you go to this link and you fill out this form. So I'm gonna put the form here, tutoring form. That form is in the chat. You can click it now, just open it, save it on your computer for later. But basically you fill out that form and then Batiz is gonna connect you to the organization, which is pretty cool. But that means you can literally get paid to do your math homework, which is amazing. That's exactly what I would like to do. I mean, I already get paid to do math. Now you can get paid to do math too, which is super awesome. So feel free to click that link in the chat if you are interested in getting that support. Cool. So we are going to jump in with doing some noticing and wondering. So all mathematicians are noticers and wonderers. Right? So first, I want you to take a look. Today, we're going to be dividing radicals. So this is the type of problem that we're going to be doing today. Right? This is the problem up here, and this is the answer down here. So they move from this into this part here. From here, they move to here, from here to here, and from here to here. Right? So if you want to see some arrows that show that, you can kind of see this section here. Right, so I want you to go ahead and send me a message, one thing that you notice or one thing that you wonder, right? You could start by saying, I notice that 4/8 and 4/8 are here. And I notice that that 4/8 turns into 1/2. I wonder why it does that. Or if you already know why it does that, you can type that in, right? Or like, I notice that square root of 14 over square root of 2 turns into square root of 14 over 2, something like that. So you're going to tell me either one thing that you notice about this problem or one thing that you wonder. So you can start with the words I notice or I wonder. You can go ahead and send those to me directly. So go ahead and chat those to me when you're ready. Hi, Elder. Hi, Isaiah. Something you notice, something you wonder. Yeah, so I noticed that there's some simplifying, absolutely, 4/8 and 1/2. Someone notices that there is some division, right? There's division happening, so we see that division bar happening. Okay. Someone notices that some numbers repeat themselves, like I see the 4 and the 4, the 8 and the 8, the 14 and the 14, the 2 and the 2, for sure. Right, lots of different noticings. Thank you for messaging your noticing. We are going to transition to our official notes. So we can go ahead and grab a piece of paper. And I'm going to switch over my sharing screen. Hi, Ari. Welcome, my friend. Let me send this to you. All right. Go ahead and grab that piece of paper, grab that pencil, iPad, tablet, whatever you're taking notes on today. You got to take notes on the back of your hand. I get it. You got to use the back of a receipt or something. Cool, no problem. All right. Today, we are dividing roots. We're dividing roots today. So we're also doing this thing called rationalizing the denominator, but those are some big old words. You don't need to worry about those right now. But we are going to divide roots and rationalize the denominator. Okay, so we're going to do 2 problems at the top, and then we'll do 2 problems at the bottom. You'll notice that I changed some of them. I actually changed them to be problems that are in our assignment. So we'll already have some assignment problems done, which is great. All right. So go ahead and make sure you don't need to write down this part, right? This part in pink, you don't need to write that down. But this part, the problem, you're going to write this down. Right, so you don't need to write down this part, but you are going to write down this problem here. Take a moment to write that down. Cool. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to divide our outsides with outsides, these problems here, outsides with outsides, and we're going to divide our insides with insides. So we're going to divide our insides with insides, okay? And then the last thing that we're going to do is simplify, if we need to simplify. So first, we're going to do outsides with outsides. We can do some quick math here. Who's got me? What's 12 divided by 2? 12 divided by 2. 12 divided by 2. Who's got it? You can chat it. You can come off mute. Either way. 6 for sure. Thank you. We have 6. Right? So 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then, does anybody know what 160 divided by 5 is? I don't know off the top of my head. Might use a calculator here. 160 divided by 5 is 32 for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and write 32 on the inside. So I'm dividing outsides with outsides and insides with insides. So I've done my first 2 steps, divide the outsides with outsides, the insides with insides, and now I'm going to simplify, right? So I'm going to simplify. I'm going to break down 32. Does anybody know 2 numbers that multiply to get 32? Okay, if I don't know, I can divide by 2. I'm like, oh, cool, it's 2 and 16, something like that. If I know that, then I can do 16 divided by 2. I get 2 and 8. I'm going to do 8 divided by 2. I get 2 and 4. And then 4, I know, is 2 and 2. I'm going to go ahead and cross out the things that I've used up by dividing them. Just like that. And then since I have a square root here and there's no number there, right? How many am I looking for? Groups of how many? Like how many of a kind? Absolutely, thanks for that chat. 2 of a kind. I'm looking for 2 of a kind. So I have a group of 2s right here, 2 of a kind. I have 2 of a single number, and I have 1 left over. So I'm going to bring down that yellow 6, right? That was already on the outside. I have a new group coming to the outside, and I have another group coming to the outside, and I have 2 left over on the inside here. 2 left over on the inside there. All right, so I have 2 times 2 would be 12 times 2 square root 2. And then obviously 12 times 2. 12 times 2 would be 24 square root 2. 24 square root 2. Just like that. All right, so if I'm thinking about my steps, I'm going to divide outsides with outsides, insides with insides, and I'm going to simplify if I can. Right, so outsides with outsides, insides with insides, and simplify. Cool. All right, if you can still hear me, put a Y in the chat, just so I know you're out there, and I know that you know how to chat. If you're still out there, still listening, throw a Y in the chat. Just want to throw out some merits for those people who are still with me. Thanks, Elder. Awesome. Sending merits to you. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Julie. Throw a Y in the chat if you can hear me. You're still listening. Cool. Thanks, Alexia. We're going to do this problem for number 2. Thanks, Mia. So we're going to do square root of 12 over square root of 3. I'm right. So we're going to do square root of 12 over square root of 3. First, we have outsides with outsides, right? So outsides with outsides, there's no numbers out here, so we don't have to do outsides with outsides. That's fine, outsides with outsides. And then insides with insides. So this is basically the same as saying 12 over 3, like that, 12 over 3. Anybody know what 12 divided by 3 is? 12 divided by 3. 4 for sure. Thank you. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Alexia. So that means that this is square root of 4, right? And then I'm trying to break down 4. I've got 2 and 2. That's a group. It's coming to the outside. 2. There's nothing left over. My answer would just be 2. You might also know that just the square root of 4 is 2. You might not have to break it down. But if you don't know how to break it down, you can. Right, so my correct answer here would be 2. So it doesn't have to be super complicated, right? We have outsides with outsides, insides with insides. And then once we simplify, we get the whole number 2. Okay. Sweet. Let me throw this poll to you. How are you feeling based on the last 2 problems that we did? So based on these last 2 problems, where are you at? How are you feeling? Tell me how you're doing. Cool. Glad to hear from you. Sweet. Thank you to the 9 of you who have posted. Here. Awesome. So it looks like we are mostly 4s, feeling pretty decent. Couple 5s, couple 3s. All right. If you're feeling like a 1 or 2 and you just didn't want to vote, that's okay. All right. So here's the thing. A long time, like way back, a long time ago, before calculators, like caveman mathematicians, right? And also like house mathematicians, but people who like lived before calculators. So like we're talking about the 1900s, maybe 1800s, 1700s, 1400s, like way back when, right? They didn't want to have a radical in the bottom because it is really, really hard to divide by a radical number, right? So what I'm saying is like if you had like 2 and you had to divide by 1.414, that would be really challenging, right? That'd be really challenging. It's easier to do 2 or 1.414 divided by 2. That's an easier problem, right? So what we want to make sure is that we do not want to have a radical in the bottom, right? We did not want to have a radical in the bottom. This is a problem right here. Yes, cavemen did math. Even though they didn't really have a writing way of doing it yet, the cavemen did do math. They did like smaller math, right? Like they did different math. So we're talking about more like Pythagoras or Aristotle or like the Greeks and the Romans and probably the Aztecs. We don't really know too much about them, but that was very cool. I don't know. Okay, so this was a problem, right? There's a problem that there's a square root in the bottom. So they came up with a way to get rid of it, right? Which is to multiply it by itself, right? And the reason that they multiplied it by itself, show you on the calculator here, the reason they multiplied it by itself is because when you take the square root of 3 and you multiply it times itself, the square root of 3, you get the whole number 3, right? You get that whole number 3. So that is really good news. When you do the square root of 3 and the square root of 3, you get the whole number 3 here. What you do on the bottom, though, you also have to do on the top. So we also have to put the square root of 3 on top. So we'd have 1 times square root of 3 here. So 1 times square root of 3, like that. So this is how we would actually write this thing over here. We don't need to put the 1 there because the 1 is like imaginary. So we just have square root of 3 over 3. It's the same as this, so they just wrote it in a slightly different way. So if we have 1 divided by square root of 3, over here with our calculators, we're fine to do this. But the cavemen, or like the old time mathematicians, were much happier to do it this way, right? They wanted to divide by a whole number. So they are in a happier place here, right? But you can see that they're the same, right? These two things are the same. They get the same decimal. We just like to write it like this. It's called rationalizing. This is called rationalizing the denominator. Ooh, big words there. Basically, we're just saying we do not want a square root. So no square root in the bottom, in the denominator. That's our rule. No square roots in the denominator. Okay. All right. Let's try another one. This is another problem from our homework. So we have square root 2 over 3 square root 5. Right, square root 2 over 3 square root 5. Okay, what is the caveman's problem? Right, why does a caveman not like this problem? Yeah, absolutely. The caveman doesn't like this problem because of the square root. right? Because of the square root in the bottom. He's okay with the square root in the top. He just doesn't like the square root in the bottom, for sure. So because they have the square root in the bottom, we are going to multiply times that same square root. And we're going to do it on top and on bottom, right? On top and on bottom, just like that. So we have the square root of 2 times the square root of 5. That would be the square root of 10. Square root of 10. And then we have the original 3. So this 3 is coming right there. And then square root of 5 times square root of 5. I think I know it, so let's double check. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is positive 5. So I'm gonna have the whole number 5 here, right? That's the whole point of the caveman not liking it. They want to multiply times itself, is to get rid of that square root sign. So our answer would be square root of 10 over 3 times 5, which is 15. Right? This is my answer here. Square root of 10 over 15. So the whole goal is that we get a whole number here instead of having a radical in the bottom. We don't want to have a radical in the bottom. All right. Okay. This is officially the end of our notes. On your paper, go ahead and draw a big line like this, right? We're sectioning, we're doing our notes up here. We're about to start our assignment, so go ahead and write assignment 26 here. So you have your notes at the top of your paper, you have your assignment. We're gonna move on to our assignment. I did update our assignment. Originally this morning, our assignment looked like this. And this morning I realized I didn't actually want you guys to do these problems. So if you already made a copy, you can delete these problems. But if you make a copy right now, you should see something that looks like this. So I'll go ahead and drop that link in to the chat so you can see what we're working with. Here. Everybody should have that one there. Go ahead and open up that link. I see you, Gracia. I see you, Ari. I see you, Mia. I see you, Chewy. I see you, Elder. Nice. Okay, so here's the deal. For assignment 26, I have cut out these problems over here. So there were some purple problems over here. I've cut these away, right? So these are gone, right? You do not need to work on these, right? And if you downloaded an earlier copy, I would recommend re-downloading this copy because I lowered the numbers. So if you're star, 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 you're doing 7. If you're on track, you're doing 9. And if you're honors, you're doing 11, right? So these ones are here. I have made a video for number 1, number 5, and number 8, and I linked them in right there. Number 1, number 5, and number 8. So you already have 3 problems that are like done for you today. We just did this problem in our notes. So number 2, we already have from our notes. And number 3, we already have in our notes, which is amazing. So we already have 5 of our problems pretty much like good to go. We have this problem and this problem from the notes, right? And then we have a video available for this one, and for this one, okay? I want to keep doing some of our problems together. So for the next like 10 minutes, we'll be working through some of those problems. So why don't we go ahead and I'm going to grab just a blank sticky note here. Go ahead and put a number 4 on your paper. Number 4 on your paper. You can do them out of order. I'm never worried about you doing them in order or out of order. We're going to zoom in on number 4. I'm going to write square root of 15 over 2 times square root of 4. All right. What problem do the cavemen have here? What problem do the cavemen have here? What problem do the cavemen have? What problem? Or well, like, why do the cavemen not like this problem? Yeah, for sure, the square root on the bottom, remember? They don't like the square root on the bottom. So I'm gonna try to get rid of this square root on the bottom, right? What's the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2, for sure. Thank you, Melissa. Right, the square root of 4 is 2. So really, this is like I'm saying the square root of 15 over 2 times 2, because the square root of 4 is just a 2. So I would have the square root of 15 over 2 times 2, which we know is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. So we have our answer right here for number 4. We have square root of 15 over 4 as our answer. Square root of 15 over 4. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and look here. I'm going to look at my answer choices, and I see on my answer choices that I have square root of 15 over 4 right there. So I know that this answer choice is all good. We found the correct answer. Okay. Sweet. Okay, number 5 already has a video option, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go to number 6. I'm going to write down number 6 on my paper here. Square root of 5 over 4, square root 125. All right. So the first thing I'm going to try to do here, right, is I'm going to try to break down 125, right, 125. How can I break down 125? Do we know anything that divides into 125? What is 125? What can we divide in there? Yeah, for sure, 5 and 25. So 5 and 25. And then how can I break down 25? Yes, 5 and 5. 5 and 5 like that. Cool. So 25 is gone since I already used it up. 125 is gone because I split it up. So now I'm looking for groups of 2, right? So here's my group of 2. It's coming to the outside, and this 5 is left over. So in my denominator here, I'm going to have the original 4 times the 5 that I'm bringing out, and this 5 is left over. So then I still have the square root of 5 on top. What can I do if I have square root of 5 over square root of 5? If I have something divided by itself, what does it equal? Like 10 divided by 10. Like 10 divided by 10 would be equal to 1, for sure. Yeah, Alexia, yeah, Melissa. 10 divided by 10 is 1, or like 1 divided by 1 is 1, right? So if I have the square root of 5 divided by the square root of 5, oh, not like that. Let's see, square root of 5 divided by square root of 5. I'm still gonna get 1, right? So if I get square root of 5 divided by square root of 5, they're basically gonna cancel out and just give me 1. So I have 1 over 4 times 5. What's 4 times 5? 4 times 5 is 20. Yes, Gracia. Yes, Alexia. Yes, Mia. Right? 20. 1 over 20 as my answer. All right, so this one I went a little bit different. I simplified first. I found all of these 5s. I brought 2 of them to the outside to make this green 5 here. This one was left over, so it stayed inside. It was the same on top and on bottom, so I was able to cancel them out. I get 1 over 20. Right, so 1 over 20 is my answer for number 6. All right. Looking at numbers 7 through 12, is there anyone that looks really, really scary? Like you're like, whoa, miss, what am I going to do with that? We probably have time for one more problem. So I want to make sure that we get a scary one out of the way. Which problem? You can put the problem number. Number 8? Sure, we can do number 8. Cool. Yeah, it looks like we have 2 votes for number 8. So for number 8, let me go ahead and delete the things that are on here. All right, for number 8, we have the square root of 12 over 5 square root 100. All right. Is the square root of 12, is that a whole number? Like, is there something times something that can give me 12? No, there's nothing, right? So we're going to have to break down 12 eventually. Is there something times something that can give me 100? There is actually. So check this out. If I do square root of 12 in my calculator, I get a decimal. So I know I'm going to have to break that one down. If I do square root of 100, I get 10. And that's because 10 times 10 is 100. So instead of 100, right, I can just write the number 10, right? So I'm going to have square root of 12 over 5 times 10, because the square root of 100 is 10. All right, so I have the square root of 12 over, what's 5 times 10? 50, yes. Perfect. All right, so these are all equal to each other. I have to break down 12. What numbers can help me break down 12? 6 and 2, cool. Could use 3 and 4 if you want. 6 and 2, and then 6 breaks into 3 and 2. Crossing out 12, crossing out 6. I'm looking for groups, so I have 2 on the outside, and I have 3 left on the inside over 50. That's 2 square root 3 over 50. Sweet. And then can I simplify 2 and 50? Can I simplify 2 and 50? Is there any number that I can divide out of 2 and out of 50? There is a number that I can divide. What is that number? Yeah, Chewy, it's 2, right? So I can divide out 2, and I can divide out, I can divide out 2 like that. So 2 divided by 2 would be 1, still with the square root 3, over 50 divided by 2, which is 25. like that, right? 50 divided by 2 is 25. So I don't need to write the 1 anymore. So square root of 3 over 25. This would be my answer for number 8. All right. So team, we have done, let's see, we did number 8. That was square root 3 over 25. We did number 2 in the notes. We did number 3 in the notes. We did number 4 on the call. We did number 6 on the call, and we just did number 8 on the call. You already have a video for number 5, and you have a video for number 1. So I would argue that we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 problems, right? We've done 7 problems here, and most people only have to do 9, right? So you're really just trying 2 more problems, right? If you're honors, you're trying 4 more problems, right? So you're trying 2 more problems. You maybe are going to watch the video here, but your goal is to have 9 total problems. If you don't do anything else today, if you do nothing else today, I just want you to turn in what you have, because you already have the notes, that's 10 points, right? And you already have at least 15 points here, and that's going to give you a passing grade, right? So if you do nothing else, what I need you to do is turn in what you have today, okay? Does everybody hear me on that? Even if you don't do any more problems, or if you get stuck or something happens, okay? I'm going to go ahead and open up a breakout room. It will say get help here. You can either go into that breakout room and Stephanie will keep doing problems with you, or you can head out for today. So I'm going to open up this room. You can either pop into that room and work with Stephanie. She'll keep doing problems with you, or you are free to sign off at this time. Okay, thank you all for a great day, and I will see you on Thursday. Mia, you would not, if you don't do any more, you want to get full points, but you would get passing points. You would get at least 50 minus. And Melissa, you're welcome, Mia. Bye, David. Melissa, it was this morning, because remember, you're actually in my 9 a.m. class.